Yeah, tell me.
Let's
We're going.
see. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, we're live. We're live. Okay.
All right. Sweet.
The Batman.
How do you want to start it? Okay, yeah.
What did you think of it? Because I told you already that I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, I was blown away by how
Yeah.
good it was. And
Yeah.
honestly, man, I have like almost nothing bad to say about it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
It's so good. It's actually like insane how good it was. And it's like a lot of the good things about the movie like have nothing to do with it even being Batman or a Batman movie. It's just
Yeah,
like
it's just a good
Matt
movie.
Reeves
Yeah.
is like Matt Reeves and whoever wrote this are like holy shit, man. They have like earned so much respect from me.
Yeah.
Like I'm like
Which
I'm
means a lot to
automatically
them. It's
interested.
super important that they're respected
Yeah.
by you to them.
I mean,
They're like,
yeah,
this is
good.
better than an Oscar or any kind of recognition
You
in
know
that
what?
way.
In a way, it probably is because I really wouldn't give a shit whether they win the Oscar or not. And so, like, yeah. Anyways, no, I'm like automatically interested in like whatever he's gonna make next, you know, and like whoever wrote.
I
this,
don't even know
because
what he made before. That name sounds familiar, but I don't know what other
I
movies
looked-
he's done.
He did Cloverfield.
Okay, the first
And
Cloverfield.
then, yeah, and Cloverfield Lane.
Well, wait,
and
did he
Cloverfield
write
Paradox.
Cloverfield or did he
No,
direct
I
it?
think he directed them.
I thought J.J. Abrams directed the first Cloverfield.
I think J.J. Abrams produced it. Maybe
Oh,
I don't know.
okay.
You'd have to look. I mean, you'd have to look at this thing. But I looked it up when I was at. I was trying to think of the other things he did as well, and he did all the Cloverfield shit. And he's got something else that's like kind of note I want to say, but like I can't remember it, so maybe it's not.
Okay. Yeah, but this
oh
is
no,
a
yeah,
solid film.
It follows. It follows. He did.
I never
I don't know if
watched
you've
that.
Seen that? That's
I
a
don't know
horror
what that
movie.
is.
I've seen that. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
And it's like very like atmospheric and stuff. And this movie was like very atmospheric. Like,
Yeah.
you know, they did a really good. You know, I felt like they clearly just used New York, but like they did like a really great job like making it like Gotham.
Yeah,
Like-
I would say this that the best iterations of Batman really portray Gotham City as like it's almost like it's its own character, like a
Yeah.
living, breathing thing.
Yeah, this felt like that because it was
Yeah.
always like raining, and it
Yeah.
felt like it was always night.
Yeah, it was always night. I think there was like one scene, the funeral scene, that was during the day.
Yeah.
but-
God, I would really love to go through it chronologically, but like I think if we want to do something that's like quicker, we probably can't.
yeah. I mean, yeah. It's, we could just do the highlights. We don't have to like hit every story beat. But
Well, like I mean, I like the way that the movie started. Like I like that it started with the Warner Brothers and the DC logo and the title of the movie like silent. I
Yeah.
thought that was because it like immediately got my attention. I'm like, wow, this is like different. This is gonna be different. And then the Batman title came up, and like the
Yeah.
music that started playing was just like not what you expected at all.
yeah,
and
and that's the theme
so-
for the movie. That's Batman's
and-
theme. Yeah.
And it was just like really intriguing, and I'm really interested to see like what they're gonna do. And then it like opens with the binoculars, and you just hear this heavy breathing, and you're like, is this Batman? Like
Yeah.
is Batman doing reconnaissance right now or whatever? And then you
Right.
learn like it's the Riddler, and then this is like the whole thing, and you get like a good idea of like what's going on. He's like watching his like election thing and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
So that was
there's,
okay.
like-
So here's my first complaint of the movie. Is that the beginning when we're introduced to Riddler, it doesn't feel like Riddler. It feels like just like a serial killer. Like I've never known Riddler to be the type of person that just brutally murders someone. And that's kind of
No.
what that felt like. It was just like just like a fucking serial killer, which is, you know, I guess that's like what they wanted to that's the way they portrayed him in this world, and that's fine. But
Yeah,
overall, I think we didn't get enough stuff with the Riddler to
yeah,
really
because his
really
last scene
see.
was really good.
Yeah, I agree. Like when they showed him in the prison cell, and he's just like a nutcase. Like
Yeah.
we should have seen a little bit more of that. But again, you know,
Yeah,
like
there was-
it was very minor because there's kind of a point where I mean, most of the movie is centered around the mobster stuff, and it almost feels like at a certain point we're watching like two different movies. We're watching the shit that Riddler's doing, and then we're watching like all the mobster stuff. And like I was saying, that we keep being told by Batman that Batman says in the movie like it's all connected, and you're like, okay, you keep saying that, but like, I don't know. But you know, like I said, really minor complaints about it. It's not even like a big deal that it's like that. But yes,
I felt like it was pretty coherent. I don't have that, or I don't share that complaint.
But yeah, I would like to have seen more of Riddler, especially like if we could see him as like a regular person. Not in the Riddler suit, like even not interacting with Batman, like just like going about his day or something. That would have been like a good scene, so that we can see, oh, this is a crazy person, you know?
Yeah. They did do a little bit of like a kind of like a Seven thing, kind of like Kevin Spacey's character, where they tried to give us like that through like notebooks and be like, oh, you can see the way that this guy like thinks because whatever. But yeah, I there were a few of the videos that he did where you got a glimpse of like his like erratic attitude, like swings and emotions, and like how he would change the way he was talking and stuff. And I thought that was like pretty well done. And yeah, I'm disappointed we didn't get to see more of it. But I think it was good. And like overall, like I really loved his plan. I loved how like he was a modern kind of terrorist. And
yes, I agree.
He was really using the power of like broadcasting things on the
internet. Yeah.
Yeah,
really
I thought that
cool.
was really cool, and I love that the climax of the movie surrounded about him, around him like creating like a group of followers on the internet that were completely galvanized to his cause. And they were there, and that it was great because they were not like coordinated or really organized, and it was believable.
Yeah,
you know,
very
Batman
very
was, like, fighting them.
Very like modern and like what's the word?
January
Apt.
6th.
Yeah, it's just really really apt for the way the world is right now.
Yes, I agree. Like the commentary was like, it was there, and it wasn't like you know it was doing a really good job. It was very subtle. I felt like it's there, but it's not like direct parallel. But like I know exactly like what's going on and what you're kind of talking about, and like I understand these feelings that you're trying to say that like the Riddler has, and like stuff like that. So I thought it was really cool that Batman was dealing with that. And yeah, speaking of like the guys being like regular dudes at the end, and that's why it's believable with like they grounded Batman like pretty fucking well in this movie. Like I'd say one of my small complaints, you know, and I thought this with like the trailers and stuff like that as well, is like I kind of didn't like the idea that Batman is like bulletproof. Because in this movie he does survive like getting shot, and then also like a bomb blows up like right next to him, and he's like fine.
Yeah, he was he had his hands around the bomb when it blew up.
Yeah, but other than that, like he was really, you know, there's a part where he like jumped out of the police station. He like fucked up his landing when he had the glider suit. And
that was so good. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a lot of times where he was just like walking around, and I really felt like Batman was like a guy in this movie, and that he was like very human. You know, the stuff that he was doing was like, you know, they were like incredible feats of like, but they weren't like superhuman. It was like pretty, you know, like even at the end, like he like grappled to a power line or something like that. He wasn't doing like amazing shit, you know what I mean? He was just doing like stuff that like you wouldn't want to be doing as a regular person. And I thought this was cool that he like saved people in this one.
Yeah.
Man, dude, it's like, it's hard now to like watch Batman movies the best.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually excited that like we get to have a conversation like that.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Was, like, oh my god, and like, Colin Farrell was so good as the Penguin.
He stole the show.
That
was like
great.
Really great. Yeah, he's just like an old timey mobster guy as a Penguin. So good. It. Yeah.
I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
And Zoe Kravitz was like
Oh man,
insanely
she's
hot,
so good looking in this movie, and I
and
like
her
how they
character was
wrote.
really great.
Yeah, I liked the scene when he gets her to go into the club with the eyeball thing.
Yeah,
I
I like
really
that he had
enjoyed
those
that because
too.
it's a well written scene because their goals are kind of at odds with each other, right? She's there to find out what
Hmm.
happened to her friend, and Batman wants to know like what's going on with the mobster guys or whatever,
Yeah,
and then it comes to a head when she makes a choice to do
take the
her own
eyepiece out.
thing, yeah, and take the eyepiece
Yeah,
out. Yeah, it's just a really, really well written movie. Like I always say,
yeah,
like if the story is good enough, I will forgive a lot of things. And this story was so good that like any complaints that I have about it are minor and easily overlooked.
yeah. I thought also for like how long it was, like I thought it was pretty well paced. I only think I noticed like two times, um, where I was like kind of like
Yeah, towards the end, I
not
started getting
super
antsy.
interested. Okay, there was
Yeah.
like I can't remember it exactly now. I'd have to like scrub a fucking thing in the movie. There
Right,
was
and
like
I
one
wouldn't
part.
say that any of the things were superfluous. Like everything was necessary for the story. I
Yeah,
just like
I
started to be like, okay, this is getting kind of long now.
I agree. I think it was like after something kind of exciting, and then the scene afterwards was just like, man, this is kind of like the scene that we're supposed to be like coming down off of, and it's like way too slow pace. Like you needed to maybe like do a better like transitionary scene or something like that, because I like really noticed there. I'm like, oh man, this scene is like not that interesting. Um, I'm really trying to think of what it was, but I totally can't remember. I want to say it was like the scene where they were like playing pool,
Oh yeah,
but I
And Falcone reveals that his dad like asked him for help when he was running for
I
mayor.
think yeah, I think that might have
Yeah,
been like one time at the end where I was like, damn, there's a lot going on in this movie. I'm like, I think I now am realizing that there's still like a decent amount left that there's gonna be. There's still probably like half an hour. That was like
yeah,
one part, and then there was like a part where I was like we're probably like an hour and maybe an hour 15 or something like that in the movie, and that was like another part where I noticed like this scene is making me realize like probably where we're at. But other than that, I thought like all the stuff that was going on was like pretty exciting,
yeah,
and I thought that the stuff that the Riddler was doing, the things that he was leaving Batman, like it was interesting to see Batman like making mistakes with like interpreting them. Like, some of them he was like smart about, but then like yeah, him and Alfred made the mistake with like the second one, and it took them a while to figure out that it was like a website. Um,
yeah,
and yeah, I thought that was cool. I will say that like the Riddler, now that I'm thinking about it, he felt a little like omnipotent or omniscient, how whichever one it is. He was always like a step ahead, and um just I don't know, like everything like came together when he needed to like tell Batman something, or something like that. And it was weird that like so much of it was like happening off screen, and that it was like coming in through like text and stuff like that, rather than like seeing a character. So that's like a
yeah,
little weird when you're dealing with something like this. But like at the same time, it did. I kind of felt that from like Batman's perspective, so it was kind of like scary. So that was cool. Um, and I love that there were like little details in this movie that were like really phenomenal. So like before I say what this is, like I think this is important to preface that like he's pretty much Batman like this whole fucking movie,
right.
which I thought was really awesome. It was
Here,
it.
okay, here's my thing. My another minor complaint I have is that
Mhm.
there's not enough Bruce Wayne stuff, and as a result, you don't see a lot of Alfred in it. So those are the
I was
things that like
kind of okay with that.
I would like to know a little bit about who this Bruce Wayne is in this world. Like, is he the guy that donates a ton to charity, or is he?
Well, he wasn't doing that because the mayor said at the end that he wasn't
Yeah.
being philanthropic, and it seemed like yeah, he's like pretty young Bruce Wayne, right? He's only been doing the Batman thing for like 2 years, so he's still kind of like bitter and vengeful, and now he's like learning new stuff about his family. Although his father is kind of like in the clear as far as we got to be told. You know, and he learned things like saving people. He doesn't want to just be like an icon for fear, you know. He felt like good when that lady like grabbed him for safety rather than like in the very beginning of the movie, you know, the guy that he like saved thought he
Yeah,
was
it was
gonna,
like, don't hurt me. Yeah.
hit him. Yeah. So it was
Yeah,
like,
that's a good
like,
detail. I didn't even notice that.
yeah, dude. And then okay, so like the detail I want to say is like I liked how in this movie it was almost like Bruce Wayne was like his superhero identity. And I liked this detail where he went to the club the very first time as Batman.
Yeah.
And the guy like closed the door and then he like brought the other guy to like help him like get rid of Batman. It wasn't to like show him that Batman was here. It was like I need an extra guy because fucking Batman's here and we need to tell him to fuck off.
Yeah.
And then when Bruce Wayne came, he brought him up and he was like, "See, I told you it was him." And it's like he had to be like, "Dude, Bruce Wayne's outside," and that guy was like, "No fucking
No way,
Bruce
yeah.
Wayne's outside." Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so like I thought that was really cool. I'm like, wow, this is like a totally different angle that we've like. Like I loved it, dude. This movie was so fresh. It had so
Yeah.
many good. I felt like for a Batman movie, they took like a lot of risks, and they were really fucking good ones, and they executed them like near flawlessly. Like it's hard to it's hard for me to criticize. Like it has so many good things going for it.
Yeah.
I liked Robert Pattinson's like portrayal of Batman. Like he
Yeah,
did a
really
good
great.
Batman voice without it being like distracting.
Yeah, I
and
was
it
going to talk
like,
about the
believable.
voice. Yeah, it was like, it wasn't a growl,
was
but it was
great.
like a whisper. And
Yeah,
almost like he
and-
was talking to himself for most of it. And,
Yeah,
I
and-
really like the part when he goes to the club and he's like, "You better go before that suit gets covered in blood." And he's like, "Mine are yours." And it was so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I like that too.
That's so
yeah.
dope.
I really like that. Like, you know, this movie like didn't pull any punches. I felt like either. There were like three really distinct moments that I remember, which were when he was afraid that Alfred got blown up, and then he made the phone call, and they were like telling, you know, and like we're thinking as the audience that it's like happening in real time, and then the lady is like,
It's
"Oh,
like, yeah, it happened an hour ago. Yeah.
and then it showed like the Wayne Tower, and it was like smoke coming. I was like, "Fuck, man!
Yeah.
That's so cool!
Yeah.
That's so cool that they did that!" And like, you know, because you're thinking like.
Oh, they're not going to do that.
kill
Yeah, they're not
Alfred, you
going
know,
to do
and
that. Yeah.
then you know you're like, holy shit, man, Alfred might actually be dead.
Mhm.
So that was pretty cool that they committed to that so hard, and like didn't, you know, they did like make Alfred alive, but like they really set it up in a way that felt final
Yeah.
or conclusive, and I think that's pretty like bold and like well like because also they showed it to us from Alfred's perspective, and it totally looks like he gets away, and so you feel like, oh, Alfred's fine, but then they show it from Batman's perspective and he's an hour late, and so you
Yeah.
think like, oh fuck, he probably is dead. And so then when they show him alive, you're like, oh, okay, so he did like escape. It doesn't really feel like he just got away because they wrote it that way.
Right.
It did look like he made like a pretty good attempt to save himself when he was opening the letter in the first place. So I thought that was like executed well.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other one was when he like caught the Riddler got caught, and then he got the thing that said that like all the trucks were gonna explode, and then they fucking did. It wasn't like
It was
it wasn't
right
like
when he
something.
found it that it happened.
Yeah, it wasn't like something that like Batman was gonna go and like stop. It like happened, and he had to deal with like the consequences of it and stuff. I
Yeah.
thought that was really really cool because like
Yeah.
it was really showing that Batman isn't like a hero where he like saves the day. Batman's like a mitigator kind of, where he's like an insurance policy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like an insurance policy only works when like something bad happens. So like that's kind of like what Batman is, and like I thought that was cool. And then the third one was I really liked at the end where he like parted way with Selena Kyle, and they had that really like tense moment where it looked like they were gonna kiss, and they were like, like fighting kind of like the instinct to, and
Yeah.
then they didn't, and then they just like parted ways, and then they like were riding down the street on their motorcycles or whatever, and then they still went in the opposite directions and like
Yeah.
committed to it, and I was like, God, I'm just like happy
Yeah.
to see a movie. Like I don't even know if these are like risks worth applauding, but it feels like you never see movies do shit like that. And I was
Yeah.
just like, good. I'm glad that they've like kept that. They're like uh simmering this relationship. They're not just turning the heat up on it right away, and like
Yeah.
they're gonna like slow burn it, and they're gonna build it up. And like I felt like they, I'll tell you, like they did kind of like set up Joker maybe for like the next movie, but like
Seems that
I,
way.
I
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm like really interested to see Penguin again,
Yeah,
because
I
like
agree. Yeah.
and
Because
I
now
thought it
he's
was
like going to be
cool.
the mob boss, right? Because Falcone's
Yeah,
dead.
and I thought it was really cool that like we probably got like four scenes with Penguin, like four good scenes, and
Something
like
like that. Yeah.
it was just enough where it's like we got enough of him in this movie, but like not enough where it's like I want to see him
Yeah,
in
I want to
another
see him come
movie.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, that's like great. I like that. I like that he's gonna have like multiple parts to this. Because like hopefully, God, and I'm so happy to be saying this. Hopefully, we get three of these fucking things.
Well, okay. So here's the thing. I think that the reason that most of the DC stuff was garbage recently is because most audiences are always thinking, what's the next movie, and the next movie, and the next 3 movies, and the next 10 movies, and the team up movie, and everything. Like, I don't want to think about that stuff. Like, I just, even if they never made another one after this, I would be happy. If they never made another Batman
Oh,
after this, I would be happy with this one.
sure, yeah,
And
I
it would be
I would
cool
too.
if they did. I think it would be really great if they continued to
Yeah,
make Batmans with the same like team and the same crew and everything. But yeah, I don't want to think about the next one because that's what got us into DC trouble in the last 10 years or so. But okay, so I think that Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz had really good chemistry, and I think the
mhm,
writing and the scenes between the two of them really reminds me of like those old movies, like a film noir. The way she's like, run away with me. We'll leave town. We'll skip town. Forget all this stuff.
mhm,
Put it behind you.
yeah.
Like all of that stuff is it's just really really good. You can tell that it's made by people who like actually enjoy and appreciate movies
Oh
as
yeah,
opposed to
I
like somebody that's like trying to make a fucking franchise take off and make billions off of it.
yeah, I agree. I mean, dude, there were so I can't like remember them because there were like so many like times in the movie where I just like smiled and I was like, this is so cool. Like
Yeah.
they just keep doing like little things and I'm noticing them, and I just appreciate like just seeing things like that. And yeah, that's why I said in the beginning, like there's a lot about it that's good that isn't just because it's Batman.
Yeah.
Like I even thought it was really cool when like Gordon was like I liked when okay, so like Batman gets blown up with a bomb, which is
Yeah.
like okay, that was like I mean like I didn't really mind it that much. I'm like at that point I was like, I was in love with the movie, so I'm like I'm suspending disbelief for whatever you want me to.
That's what I'm telling
And
you. Yeah.
it's full stop, so
Yeah.
like he gets blown up and I don't mind, but like when I talked to Carlos about it later, he didn't like it. And then he was like, and then why didn't they unmask him? And I'm like, well, that's the thing is like Gordon protected him, and he was like,
Yeah.
nah, they would just unmask. And I'm like, no, man, that's the thing that this
Yeah.
movie has done,
Gordon is
which is so
protecting him.
fucking
Yeah.
cool. Is that yeah? First of all, is like the police are intimidated by Batman, and they like respect him a little bit in like a fearful way.
Yeah.
So like, and then second of all, Gordon is like frontlining for Batman like hard. So I thought that was really cool that like Gordon like protected him from getting unmasked. And
Yeah.
then And then he's like, I'll get him to cooperate. And then the guy's like, okay, everyone get out. And then they do the pretend like
Yeah, the
shakedown
tough
thing where
guy
they're like
scene,
down,
yeah.
yeah, and he's like pretend to punch me. And then like later he was like,
He's you
I
could
thought
have
you were
pulled
gonna
that
pull
punch,
your
man.
punch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, I did.
I did.
God damn, that was so
Yeah.
funny.
It's great.
Oh.
Or the car chase scene when all the fucking trucks are blowing up, and then he like uses the ramp to like jump over the
Oh,
explosion.
that was
I
so
was like,
cool.
oh my god, it's so cool.
Yeah. Like like it wasn't just like some shit that was just set up for like Batman to do like a cool thing. It was like an
Yeah.
action scene where he
Yeah.
was like, "Oh fuck, there's all these there happens to be a ramp.
Yeah.
Thank God." And then like rolls over the top.
Yeah.
Like it was so cool. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Or at the end when
Um,
those guys started shooting, and then like the ceiling starts like, exploding, and he jumps in through the ceiling. I was like, oh my gosh, it's the coolest Batman shit. Oh man,
Oh. Yeah,
classic
it had
Batman.
it just had some like great stuff. Yeah, I'm sad that like I saw the fucking car chase thing in the I'm sad they put that in the trailer, man.
Yeah,
Like, God, that would have been really cool to just see.
to like surprise us with
But-
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
especially
it's like,
because
as
he
soon as-
doesn't drive the Batmobile for most of the movie. He rides a motorcycle. And that's the first time we see the Batmobile in the movie.
Yeah.
Is that chase scene?
Yeah,
It
and
was
as soon
really
as they
cool.
whip it out, you're like no, and he's like chasing Penguin. You're like, oh, well, you know this is gonna end. It's gonna
Yeah.
end with fire and him being upside down walking and shit.
Yeah,
So there was, I just remembered like one other thing. There was like one part where like Catwoman and Batman are like behind a truck, and then like he gets shot and he's like on the ground, and then like he disappears, and then he's like in the Batmobile,
yeah,
and it's like pretty It seems pretty logistically hard. for
yeah. I
him to
mean,
have
he's
gone from
Batman. He
that-
can do whatever. He can do anything.
Yeah, yeah. I noticed that, but I was like, whatever, man. I'm like, I want to see him in the car, so it's fine.
Yeah, dude, half an hour in, I was sold on the movie. I'm like, I love this movie. There's so many
there
cool
was-
things happen in that first half hour.
Yeah, there was like so much good like detail. Like I like that in the very beginning, like the kid only had half his face painted because he was like an initiate, you know?
Yeah,
Like on the train, the
Yeah.
Skull Gang, and yeah, and like I was like worried about Batman like having like I was like when he like was walking out into the darkness, you know, I was like, well, I'm worried that he's just gonna get shot, you know, he should be worried about walking. What if these guys have guns? And then he got shot, and then it's like, oh yeah, he's bulletproof in this, and then he just like proceeds to like beat the shit out of everyone.
yeah. Okay,
And,
so there was like one thing at the end when he gets hit with the shotgun, and then he's like, you're thinking, oh man, this is like different, right? Because he seems like really hurt. And then it seems like he's about to die because she's like, it's okay, you can like rest now. And you're like, oh, this is a death scene. No way they're going to kill Batman in this right now. And then you think he's going to die. And then he does like the adrenaline or whatever and then caves that guy's face in. And then and then he like jumps onto the electrical thing and cuts the cord. And then he like totally, you think he dies right there. And then he falls in the water. But then he gets up again. It's like, you did that too close together. You think he's gonna die 2 times, like immediately like that?
Oh, I didn't think he was gonna die from the shotgun blast.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. But like the way the scene was framed, it seemed like that was like it.
Oh,
But-
for me, like I'm just like, well, Batman's immune to bullets in this, so like anytime he gets shot, I'm just like never worried for him.
Yeah, but I mean, why did he like have such a hard time getting up after that?
Because of the shotgun, and it was
Like,
close.
Yeah, I guess.
And he had also been shooting getting shot by a bunch of other guys and stuff. He'd like done so much by then.
Yeah.
And also, if you know, at the end of the movie, he monologues again, and he says it's November 6th. So everything he's been doing has been in like
in
the
like
span of
5
a week.
days. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, so I thought that was cool that he took the adrenaline shot. I actually thought that
Yeah.
was like
No, I thought that was great.
really awesome, and I like that he had like the little spot in his suit for it.
Yeah.
To inject it. Just really cool, cause like, yeah, I thought as well. I was like, he's got to use it because like he's in a like life or death situation right now, and he's like fucking getting his ass kicked. So
Yeah.
yeah, I thought that was like really cool. It's like used it basically because like, if you don't get up, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
So have to fucking adrenaline shot yourself. I thought that was fucking sick.
Yeah.
Um,
Really great stuff. So overall, we'll give some final thoughts, I guess, on this.
all
I
right.
don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
go
know
for
what
it.
else to say because, yeah, I mean, this is a great movie. Probably the perfect Batman movie. I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
Better
It's
than The Dark Knight. It's hard for me to say that, right? Because I feel like we
ooh,
didn't get enough of the villain in it in this
in
movie.
this one.
And yeah, and the reason that
Yeah, but I was so interested in Batman. He
yeah,
was so
I agree.
interesting,
Yeah.
and every scene with him, like that's the thing too, is like when it's like if we weren't getting Riddler, we were just getting Batman. It's not like we were spending a lot of time with other characters. We were always
Yeah.
with
It's all
Batman, and
Batman,
then
yeah.
Batman was with those characters.
Yeah.
And like I said, he was always Batman. He was like he was never Bruce. And then I really liked how, Riddler brought that to attention at the end where he's like, we're who we are when we have the mask on. And like,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, you got that. It's like, dude, this guy's Batman all the time.
Yeah.
Really cool. I really like that.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Like
We
I
didn't
would
get the
definitely
villain
put
enough,
it
though. Yeah.
up there with Dark Knight. It's hard for me to say whether I liked it better. I'd probably have to see it a few more times to really decide.
I feel like that as well because it's like it is very like long and meticulous kind of story, and so I
Yeah.
have to see like how much I enjoy it like again because like the first time seeing it is it's awesome. Um, God, what was So I think that the thing with the Dark Knight is in the Nolan trilogy is like, man, I really like Robert Pattinson as Batman and Bruce
Yeah.
Wayne, and like
Yeah.
I'm really whatever about Christian Bale. It's like it's more about Heath Ledger's Joker, especially in Dark Knight.
Yeah,
A
I
lot
would
of
say Heath Ledger's Joker, but also I mean, I liked him as Batman. Just because like the way the suit looked and the gadgets that he had and the stuff that he did. Um, but I wouldn't say that like I'm super attached to it. But I can't even think of a Batman that I am attached to. Maybe like yeah, I don't know. I
yeah,
mean, Michael
I'm not
Keaton was
really
cool, but
yeah, I'm not really attached to a Batman either, but like this, I really liked this Batman, and that we got like so much of it and stuff, and then it made me think like, well, I really like the Dark Knight, but it's like really because of like how mesmerizing the Joker is in that movie.
yeah,
And then it's like, so the Batman, the third Batman movie is terrible, and then like Batman Begins, where it's like you've said he's not really Batman until like an hour and a half into the movie or something like
right,
that. It's
yeah,
like really long, and then when he is Batman, it's like crazy good. It's
yeah,
like really exciting. Um, and then it's similar in Dark Knight, but he's more like entertaining to watch. He's not really like I don't know. Christian Bale is I don't know. He's not like an enjoyable Bruce Wayne or Batman, I guess. He's very like middle of the road for me, but I really liked
yeah,
this one. So, and then yeah, I feel like the villains are also really strong, and I feel like for having like two and a half, if you want to count Selena Kyle, kind of
mm,
like they all get like a really adequate amount of screen time. Like you could say that it's like limited in a lot of ways, but man, they really get a lot out of the time that they do allocate to the people that do it. Because like I think like Penguin gets like four-ish scenes. He gets like the scene in the club where Batman first shows up and they like talk in the room, and then he gets the car chase scene, and then they like the car chase plus the interrogation scene. You could say is maybe like one scene. You
yeah,
could say it's two, whatever.
yeah,
And then he kind of gets the scene at the end where he like pretends he's gonna shoot Falcone or whatever.
right, right,
And that's pretty much it.
yeah,
And then Riddler gets like a couple videos, and then we get like a really long scene with him at the end, like long enough to compare to like the one where Batman and Penguin get in the beginning, I would say.
yeah,
And I feel like you get a good idea for them, and so like one of the things, and the movie kind of brings this up too, is like I don't mind that we didn't get a lot of Edward, whatever. I don't even think they called him Edward Nigma. He had a different last name.
oh, Nashton,
And
yeah,
something like that, yeah. And and it's like I don't mind that we didn't get a lot of him because like he said he's like he's more the person that he is when the mask is on. He like speaks truthfully and stuff like that. So I'm kind of okay that we didn't just get like a diet Riddler, you know,
Yeah.
in a bunch of the movie. I'm kind of okay that he's just like super radicalized and like this is just some blowback that you get in Gotham because of like, you know, we don't need a fucking sympathetic backstory. We see it all the time on the streets. People are just getting fucking mugged, and there's guys doing graffiti, and they're robbing liquor stores, and they're
Yeah.
beating people up in the subway, what, just because they're Asian, and so they can put it on like TikTok and shit. Like, we get it. It's like Gotham's like a fucking shitty place, and like the mob has been running it, and they're like taking billions of dollars out of this like slush fund with like no oversight and shit. Like, yeah, it's got to be crazy. So it's like I don't really need a backstory to see like what he's like in real life. He probably just puts on a fucking boring face and tolerates everything like everyone else till he gets online and he can tweet or put it on Getter. So yeah, it's like I'm fine with seeing him when he's like actually doing the January 6th shit. It's like really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
like he like knows what buildings to drive to. He doesn't like go to the Congress Library by accident and shit.
Yeah.
Like actually he knows where to go to like see
Yeah.
where the car crashes and stuff, you know.
Right.
He's on top of his game.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I'd
So-
give this movie a 10 out of 10. Honestly. 10 out of 10. I've never given that out on this show before.
Dude, it's really yeah.
Yeah.
It's like like the thing is like there's a fucking hard argument to be had for that.
Yeah.
Like man, I think I could say like 9 because 10 is like absolutely perfect. But like I
Yeah.
feel pretty confident giving it a 9. It's like
Yeah.
so enjoyable.
It's so good.
It's
Yeah.
so enjoyable. Oh man, I really loved it. I was like oh my god, it's like you said, like within a few minutes of the movie, like I was like, oh my god, this is so good.
Yeah. The narration, the lines that he was saying like as he was journaling, I thought that
Mhm.
writing was really good. Yeah, there's everything about it is
Like, 'cause, like,
near
it-
perfect. Yeah.
It goes like Riddler like spying on and then killing the guy, and then like and then it's like Batman doing his thing about the bat signal and saying like how he like people are afraid of him just because like the bat signal's on, like they think he's like
Yeah.
in the shadows. You're like, fuck, this is some sick Batman details we're getting
Yeah.
right now. Like this is awesome. And then he like beats them up in the thing, and then he goes to the crime scene like with Gordon, and then like there's all that, and you
Yeah.
like see another thing is like you see Martinez like hate Batman, but then like later he's like super excited to see like Bruce Wayne, and like I loved seeing like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How like and yeah, it's like whatever runtime it was for the movie, like probably up to like 30 minutes at that point, maybe you get like this, you know that you're seeing something you've never seen before, and that they're running with like really cool and new ideas, and you just like want to see where they go, and like the rest of the movie doesn't disappoint with like where they take you.
Yeah.
That's like the best way, because like you get some sick stuff in the crime scene, like you know that they're going to be like deciphering like coded messages, and they're going to be trying to solve like other riddles,
Yeah.
and they're trying to like puzzle his like motive, and they're trying to figure out like what items in the room are like important and stuff like that, and it's like, damn, this is fucking cool. And
Yeah,
then he
it's
goes home to the
good
Batcave.
detective shit.
Yeah, and then he goes home to the Batcave and he takes out the fucking contact lenses, and you're like, holy shit, he was
Yeah.
recording all that.
Dude, the
And then he's,
contact
like,
lens was so cool.
yeah, and then he starts like going through all of it and like printing things out, and he's like watching the videos, and like
Yeah.
Alfred comes in and is gonna help him. It's like, oh my god, this is so cool.
Real cool Batman shit. Yeah.
Really cool Batman shit. Yeah, and they showed him like drive like all through like the nooks and crannies of like Gotham City, and like get in through like some backwards parking lot garage
Yeah.
gated entrance, and like dude, it's like really cool, like just sick details, like some abandoned like Wayne property.
Yeah.
Just really neat stuff. Like they really like did like I'm glad the movie was like as long, you know, see this is kind of like what I would have liked for like Dune. That's what I like hope gets achieved if you like give them like a little bit more time. Is like I felt like Dune feels like a little bit rushed to me in terms of like how they're trying to get to like certain plot points within like a certain amount of time, and this felt like it had all the time that it needed to do, and it didn't
Right.
feel like it was rushed. And I think that's like because like there's like one part where like God, he's like reaching into a cage with a bat, and it's like, and he's like just getting the note that like the Riddler took, and it takes so long.
Yeah.
He's like reaching in, and it like he's like staring at it for a really long time, and the bat's like going like fucking crazy, and then he like reaches in really slow, and like you see him like struggling to like pull it off, and he gets it, and he's like pulling it out of the cage, and the bat's like, and you're just like, God, this is so cool. Like it doesn't need to be this, but it is, and it's
Yeah.
like it just feels like he's doing it for like I don't know. I'm just loving it, and it's like there's a lot of things that are like that in this movie where you're like, oh man, it's because they took a little bit of extra seconds with like this little thing or this little thing or this little thing, and you feel like the impact of like whatever it is like that much more, and that's why the movie like stretches out to like where it gets to, but it's like they get so much out of that time.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. It really feels like they got every ounce out of it.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
go see this movie.
I probably will want to go see it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely go see this.
Yeah.
This
I'm
shit's fucking sick.
probably gonna see it again.
I'm so
eventually.
happy that like we finally got something from DC that's like really fucking good. Like
Yeah.
and you're right. If they like didn't make any more, I'd be like disappointed. But like at least we got this. Like,
Yeah,
this
at
is
least we
amazing.
got this.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the end of the show. Definitely go see it. There's nothing but good things to say about this, really.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
Yeah.